Hi guys, I wanted to add a little note about a trigger warning we have included around minute 47 of this episode that should sound like this. You can skip 2 minutes and enjoy the rest of the show. The trigger warning happens during our main review of Khufiya, which is rated for mature audiences and has at least one specific scene that we discussed briefly that we wanted to be sensitive towards. Yeah, I just wanted to add this note. Enjoy the rest of the show. Hi, this is Asim.
This is Sujoy.
This is Amrita.
And you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast about the three main Khans of the Hindi film industry.
Amir,
Salman,
and Shara.
Hi, you're listening to Khandaan, a Bollywood podcast regular feed. Thank you so much for your support over the years. We now have a Patreon channel with bonus content and exclusive merch for those of you who would like to support us. Every dollar goes towards creating more and better content. Visit us at patreon.com/Khandaan podcast.
Hi and welcome to a new episode of Khandaan Podcast. My name is Asim Berni and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts Amrita and Sujoy. Hey Amrita, hey Sujoy.
hello everybody.
Hey guys.
We are talking this week about Vishal Bharadwaj's Netflix release. It's his first Netflix, right? Like his first Netflix production, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Khufiya. That came out Friday. And we're basically just going to be talking mostly about Khufiya because literally nothing has happened. We were like scouring the internet for newses or like rumors or gossip or anything that popped, and literally nothing did, right? Like, Amir had 3 announcements or something like that, and none of them popped. Clearly, Amrita, right? like even with 3 announcements.
Asim was reduced to sending me tweets from randos on Twitter that were talking about like how high waists on pants are good actually and makes people look really tall. And then that was followed by, I think, Sujoy sending a photo of Junaid Khan posing with Amir and Salman, and it was literally like Junaid with Chunnu Munnu like on the red carpet. It was hilarious.
He's quite tall though. Where did he get the jeans from? Like he's actually quite tall.
I think from Reina's side.
No, it must be a throwback to the Pathan side, right? Because Amir is like a distilled Pathan.
It's like when you have those, washing liquid bottles and then they like compact them, like more strength, but in a smaller size.
Can we go one episode without making Amir so short jokes? The answer is no.
I love Amir. I'm a huge fan. Biggest fan of the podcast.
number one Amir fan on the podcast.
ऐसे fan किसी को नसीब ना हो like.
So basically the 3 newses were that his son is going to be starring with Sai Pallavi, which is kind of amazing casting, right? Like that's pretty cool. Like that raises my interest for Junaid's debut like astronomically, which I had coming from 0 going to like, yay, I can watch Sai Pallavi. That's a big thing. Second one that he found, I think, a director or for his Campiones remake, which he'd been shopping around for a couple of months. Salman was going to star in it, and then there's no news for that. And then the third thing was that he's announced he's producing a movie directed by Rajkumar Santoshi that's going to be starring Sunny Deol. And what is this play, Amrita, that is based on?
I can't remember the name of the play, but it is the movie's name is tentatively Lahore 1947, I think. And it's apparently about a woman whose family leaves Lahore and moves to India during the partition. And she decides to stay behind because she's like, this is my home, I'm not leaving. And then when the Muslim family from India is allocated this house, they move in and basically just find her haunting the place. And they have to somehow like all live together, and they end up becoming very close apparently.
Okay, nice. That sounds actually pretty good. I'd watch that.
It doesn't sound bad. No.
And I'm excited for having Rajkumar Santoshi making another movie again with a decent
Yeah.
budget. Which, yeah, for me, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and he's just kind of dropped off. So that's kind of like sad.
What was his last movie?
Oh, I know that. I think he made something that came out and nobody watched. Let me check. It did release at the UK cinemas, but even I did not go to watch it. I think it was. Let me quickly check, and it was the Gandhi Godse Ek Yudh.
Right.
You guys. Do we want to take back our, like, it doesn't sound that bad? Like, literally, this is like that gif of like Tyra Banks going like, "We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you." Like, that's basically what it looks like right now. But
Yeah,
okay.
he's not had a good run though. I mean, it was the Gandhi Godse, which I didn't watch at all. Then the one before that was 10 years ago. Phata Poster Nikla Hero, which
Yeah,
that's
Nothing Nuts.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. And then before that was where Ajab Prem Ki Ghazab Kahani, which I think is a vastly underrated comedy, which is so funny and so good. But again, it didn't really work at the box office that much. Or no, that one did.
Oh,
That the
no,
artist,
it
yeah,
did.
it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was the last one that he kind of had, success with. So yeah, excited to see what he does next. I think the other news that was also happening was that is it Mahabharat story that they're making with no, or is it
Ramayan.
Ramayan?
Ramayan.
Ramayan, yeah, with Ranbir and Sai Pallavi and Yash from
Yeah,
KGF.
yeah. Are you guys excited for that?
I mean, it's too early to be excited about it.
Yeah.
It may never happen. Like, there are projects that Ranbir is associated with for a long time and that never comes to fruition. Now, remember, like Anurag Basu and Ranbir were making a Kishore Kumar biography for the longest time and that never
Yeah.
happened. So,
No, but I do think this will happen because it's being directed by Nitesh Tiwari, whose last magnum opus was Bawal, which we have discussed at length.
I was gonna make the joke is like he's making it and just making that image of हर किसी के दिल में रावण होता है. But I was like, let's not go there. Let's not go
But I do know that, like, however bad this movie might be, it can't be as bad as Adi Purush. Like, we've watched Adi Purush, we've come out on the other side. So it doesn't matter. Like, at least we can depend on Nitesh Tiwari to make a competent film, however bad other things might be in it. But also, this is going to be a trilogy, which makes me think, like, so between this and Brahmastra, is like Ranbir just going to be working between two IPs in the near future? Like, that seems terrible.
I'd much rather it be a non-CGI fest, but like Ramayan adapted to modern times. So it's all about, family dynamics and drama rather than it becoming more of a CGI war with the Ravan on, all of that battle scenes, because we've seen that enough already. I'd much rather see a modern day adaptation some way. But who knows?
Yeah, that would be good.
I mean, the cast is exciting though. Like, I don't think these
Yes.
guys would make any bad moves. So there's something probably there that is interesting, right? So, yeah, let's see. But yeah, like you, Sujoy, I'm worried about these multi-year projects, which, like, I feel even the Brahmastra hype is dying down. I don't even
Yeah.
see if there's going to be a sequel. Like, are people really clamoring for it, or are they just happy that the first one went okay?
I did see something on Dharma's page there, or was it Ayan Mukherjee who posted like the principal photography is happening next year for sure. Yeah.
How? Isn't he directing War 2?
Ayan Mukherjee?
Yeah.
No.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
wow, okay.
Ayan's doing War 2, and he's going to do like cameos apparently from like Hrithik and Salman and Shah Rukh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, not cameos from Hrithik. War will be Hrithik's movie, but yeah.
Okay. That's kind of
Oh
cool.
yeah, it is January 2025. Apparently, is the release for War Two, and to be directed by Ayan Mukherjee.
So I don't know, and Dharma has washed its hands of Brahmastra. Like Karan Johar said, this movie nearly bankrupted me, and I am getting the out of Dodge.
Mm,
And he's gone back to making coffee with Karan. So that's that.
yeah. One more thing that happened is that Akshay Kumar cockroaches went to watch Akshay Kumar's new movie. It seems like,
Mission Raniganj.
yeah. So I got a press screening invite for that, and I got the opportunity to interview Akshay Kumar himself, and I said no to both of those things.
I thought you were the Akshay Kumar fan in
I
this.
am.
Yeah.
I am. But the thing is, there's certain people I just don't like. I'm not a guy that wants to absolutely meet celebrities or actors. That's just not inherently in me. Taking a selfie and all that kind of thing, I'm really not interested with it. And I also just understand the certain actors that I don't think they give interesting interviews necessarily, and I think Akshay is that. So I just don't think I could get something from him that would not be rehearsed, that would not
Yeah,
interest me. And if I would want to get some real questions asked, then I would probably get kicked out of the press conference.
yeah.
So none of this could come out as a win. So I just kind of said no. It wasn't that I don't like Akshay. I still watch his movies. I guess I am a fan of his movies a lot of times, unless he's gone crazy. But this movie also just didn't appeal to me at all. And I think that's what also the box office has said, right? That it doesn't appeal to anybody. But apparently he was threatening people like, yeah, I made a movie about menstrual pads when nobody dared to, and that's also true. That's also true. He does take some risks sometimes, but I think since he's been co-opted by the government, he's lost a lot of the audience, I feel, and gained other audiences. But the mathematical formula hasn't seemed to work out for him, I think.
But like saying about the whole making movies about sanitary pads and everything, that was part of his brand. He was sort of leaning towards that. I am the Hindu savior kind of figure on cinema. I think that was him leaning towards that with that particular brand of herogiri. We also got like occasionally we used to get special chabis, what that was once in a blue moon, and everything that he did, oh, like from Rustam to Padman, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, and Airlift, even that was the hero that saved the day, and that was his brand. It wasn't necessarily like a risky swing. It was like Ayushman Khurrana's, but make it Akshay Kumar.
So Joy, what movie should Akshay star in that would make you excited to watch an Akshay movie?
Oh my god, I think he should do an out and out action movie,
Yeah.
like not even a spy universe or stuff like that. Something like what's his face, Bob Odenkirk did Nobody. So, like a retired assassin from back in the day, he's living his quiet life, comes back to action because of circumstances, and you see the age on Akshay Kumar. He has to play somebody his age, but he's been an action star. We know that personality, and he should just do an out and out action movie that just kicks ass, man, because he can do the stunts. And like with editing these days, anything is possible. We have seen Shah Rukh Khan do wonders in Pathan, and Akshay can pull much better, I believe. But I don't
Yeah.
know, there's some sort of agenda that has to be there in his cinema, or some sort of message that he wants to convey, like because of his recent change of citizenship or whatever his allies are in the political circle. Just cut them off and make movies like he used to do in the 90s, like the whole, maybe make it title it some khiladi, like a retired khiladi or whatever.
मर गया खिलाड़ी.
अभी जिंदा है खिलाड़ी. खिलाड़ी जिंदा है.
What about you, Amrita? Anything that Akshay can do that could make you excited to go watch his movie?
I was actually about to say that I'd love to see him in a comedy again, but then I remembered like about like a, an Akshay comedy has like a 50-50% chance of it either being like absolutely brilliant, and or else just being like the worst. Like, like I still remember that song that where he puts on that bald makeup and then he's doing that bala bala
Yeah.
song, and I can see why he thought it would be funny, but it just ended up being like incredibly cringe, and that is always the fear with Akshay. Like he walks this really thin razor's edge. But what Sujoy was saying, like I think that would really work. Like something like John Wick or something like Nobody. Like these are like things that he could do really well, and it would just really go back to his roots, and he has the physique to do it.
Yeah,
That is the
he's
other
very
thing,
fit.
like
Still very, very fit. More than anybody, I would say.
incredibly,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's not fit in the way that say Sanjay Dutt or Salman Khan are fit, who are like movie star fit. He's like martial arts fit,
He's nimble.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like a couple of his workout videos and stuff, and he's not like lifting weights or like, trying to concentrate on his calf muscles or something. He's like doing like endurance things. He's like doing things that make you think like, wow, like how does he do that with his like, his body? Like that's insane. So he can actually do a whole bunch of things, I think, especially in this era where people really want that kind of action and that kind of movies. He could create like an event film very easily, and instead I think the closest that we're going to get is Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, which already looks like a shambles from like whatever teaser that we saw. And it's just going to be, like Tiger doing like his little midair pirouettes. I mean, I'm sick of it already.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yes.
you said comedy, though, I got reminded about the a cappella teaser of Welcome to the Jungle, and I was like,
Yes.
no, definitely not.
Yeah. I'm the
Yes.
only one excited for Jungle then. No, but yesterday, like, I finished watching Khufiya, and the Netflix showed me that Oh My God 2 had dropped also on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I should watch it, So if he's not making like just like biographies or like these shitty anti-Pakistan, anti-Muslim movies, I still am excited to get, not enough to go to the theater, maybe, I know. And I think that's what you're talking about, if he makes an action movie. But he's made so many. He's made Suryavanshi, he's made Holiday. He just never has a good team around him. He has not been able to get a team that can make a Khiladi, have that Abbas Mastan kind of like juice behind them. And I'll be honest, even his Khiladi era, really the two good Khiladis were the first Khiladi and then Mr. and Mrs. Khiladi. Those are the only two good Khiladi movies. The rest are,
Yeah.
bar some sequences, but they're not good movie making, So, and maybe
Yeah.
that's also the reason why he doesn't want to revisit that era, because he understands that those movies just got successful, but they were never that good. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like, maybe that movie that came out in what's it called, Kill, that's getting a lot of like play and like a lot of international recognition for its action. If he can get that team to work with him and make like kind of an older man that used to be a badass that has to kind of do one more fight, that could work. But again, I don't know if even his fan following wants to see him as old man. Like there's also that thing where they still see him as the up and coming underdog, and so I don't know. I don't
I
know.
mean, he's done Lakshmi. No fan of Akshay Kumar wants to see him in that, right? So,
Yeah,
I recently saw the Bambole song out of the blue because YouTube shuffled through it at me, and he looks terrible in it. Who is he doing that for? Not his
yeah.
fans. He's trying something new, so why not try this? Akshay, if you're listening to this, please do.
If
Also,
it,
Zaddy seemed to be having a really good run at the Indian box office. I mean, when Ritik put grey in his hair, everybody was just like, "Oh my God, Ritik!" And then like Shah Rukh showed up with like
yeah.
a few years on his face, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Vikram, Daddy!" So, maybe it'll work for Akshay as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in any case, if he listens to us or he doesn't listen to us, we're going to get 7 new movies of his next year anyway.
Yeah.
He's still, he's still going to be working, so it really, in a way, doesn't matter. Let's move on to our main review of Khufiya.
किसी ने गद्दारी की है हमारे साथ. We have a mole in the agency.
I'm gonna pull up the star cast because there's so many names and so many names that I'm not necessarily familiar with in this movie. So for the ones that haven't seen it, this is the IMDb summary. Krishna Mehra, who is an operative at Indian spy agency known as RAW, she is assigned to track down the mole selling India's defense secrets while all along grappling with her dual identity as a spy and a lover. As a lover? Really? Who wrote this? Okay. So yeah, this is directed by Vishal Bharadwaj. It's starring Tabu, Ali Fazal, Wamiqa Gabbi, and Azmeri Haque Badhon. I think Badhon. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Badhon, I think.
Badhon, yeah. Yeah. So I know lots of other people. It came out last week. So I personally, I haven't really read reviews, or also because I don't know, like Twitter is impossible to navigate this weekend. So I've just not logged on too much. So I don't know what the kind of feedback and what the reception of this movie is. I'm really going blind in this, which I'm kind of interested in to do it this way for once. So Amrita, what did you think of Khufiya?
So I also went in really blind on this. Like, I've been sick for about a week, so I haven't really been keeping up with the conversation. And I don't think I think I watched the teaser for this when it was released, but that was literally all that I knew. So I knew it was something about spies, but that was really it. And we're going to be pretty spoilerific, right? Like we're going to be talking spoilers.
Let's talk generally and then get into spoilers. Maybe
Okay.
we'll do a spoiler warning.
Okay. I was like, this movie really surprised me in some very good ways. And it was a lot of fun, and it was excellent character work, and the performances were just across the board. Like, in a Vishal Bharadwaj movie, you kind of have come to expect it, with one or two exceptions, like very notable exceptions. But yeah, this was a banger of a time for me, anyway.
What about you, Sujay?
Yeah, went in completely blind. I had not seen a single teaser even. I knew that Vishal Bharadwaj and Tabu's movie is coming out on Netflix, and that was the only thing I needed to watch this. And I didn't know who else were involved. There were some online chatter about Shah Rukh making a cameo in this, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll be surprised. But that's just, whatever. But I was pleasantly surprised by how much engaging of a watch this was. Like, I usually have that bad habit of scrolling through the phone at times, but once this movie started kicking in, I completely forgot my phone and I was stuck to the screen. It was so clever, smart, funny, engaging, thrilling, edge of the seat thriller, and the performances by the leads, especially Tabu, a very surprising Navnindra Behel as Ravi's mother, or Ali Fazal's mother. And yeah, it was so well done. It was probably one of the best Netflix movies that I've seen come out on the streaming platform. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a win for me.
Same for me. I really enjoyed it. I think I might be a little less positive than both of you guys are, because I did have some issues, especially in the second half of it, where it almost becomes, Razi in South Dakota. And that kind of, and I think it's because we lose focus on Tabu's character, which is kind of my main hook to this movie, is Tabu and her face. Like,
Yeah.
it was Jani Jan and Karina and her face. Here we have Tabu, Khufiya and her face. It is just amazing to see what star power she has just with, small reactions when she's, watching Wamiqa on screen, and the kind of like, how she's reacting with minuscule facial expressions, and she's so contained, but she can say so much. And I think it's what an amazing combo of filmmaker and actor together, Tabu and Vishal Bharadwaj, right? And we've seen a few of their movies together now, and every time it is just literal fire. You know that they will not disappoint you, and I think Khufiya also doesn't disappoint you. I also love the kind of double meaning of the title itself, and how that kind of comes into play later on in the movie. And also, the movie is brave, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few moments there where I screamed like, "Oh my god! Like, is this happening? Am I seeing what I'm seeing?" Which is again a testament to the filmmaking and the actors being brave enough to do this. I thought that was amazing, and I gotta just also shout out to Azmeri Haque Badhon. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I have not seen such a gorgeously striking face since Chitrangda Singh, I think. Like, like it made me think of her. Like, it is just, she's like a painting. Like, it's amazing. Like, I was blown away by her. And I think this is her first Hindi movie, or at least I have not seen her or anything. But it's also just the whole movie is basically about women, right? Like, it's just four women, and like what they, and in the mother-in-law character, he's kind of created one of the ultimate villains. And I think it's done in such a subversive manner, because it's like it could be anybody's mother, right? Like, everybody's mother is like that, but she is like the ultimate villain. Like, she's so horrible, right? And I think that kind of interplay is so good. But yeah, what did you guys think of the casting of this movie? Like, Wamika, and let's talk about the female characters. Maybe that's probably what we want to do first.
So I think the two standout performances for me in this film, I mean, they were all standout performances. That's not right. But the two people from whom I couldn't remove my gaze throughout the film, like, one was Wamiqa Gabbi is a star. Like, she is... she's going to be everywhere. Like, she's already, caught the eye of directors such as Vikramaditya Motwane and Vishal Bharadwaj. There is no question that she is a fantastic actress. There were times in this film where, you see the camera loves her. And she is just completely fearless in front of it. And I was actually thinking about the very early Shah Rukh. Like, that is how far back I had to go back to think about somebody like that, because there are points in this film where she is performing without any sort of vanity whatsoever. And she's also, like, that face is so expressive. Like, she just completely makes you believe that what you are watching is CCTV footage and not, a movie. It is fabulous, like, absolutely fabulous. And she is completely different here from the person that she was playing in Jubilee, which is the other movie that I've seen her in. And then Badhon, like, the Bangladeshi actor who plays a very significant role in this film. My God, like, what a star. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. And just, there's scenes of her with Tabu where she just goes toe to toe with her. And she holds the screen, which is so tough. And she just does it effortlessly. And she, like, from the moment that you see her, and the movie begins with her character, and that is basically what sells the entire movie. Like, if you don't buy Badhon's character in that first vignette, then you don't buy the rest of the movie. You need to connect with her. You need to know, like, you need to have this feeling, what happened to her? Why did it happen to her? I want to know more about this person. And for that to happen, it needed to be somebody like this, somebody with tons of charisma, somebody who's just beautiful and striking and completely different from, say, 99% of the people that you will see on the Indian screen.
Yeah.
And then I also really appreciated Atul Kulkarni showing up as a very dependable husband and a good dad and a great ex. And we don't see characters like that very often in Hindi cinema or in any cinema, to be honest. And he was so good, He has that, like we throw around the term zaddy too much these days, but he definitely brought that vibe. But yeah, like everybody, and of course, like Tabu. What can I say? And also, I don't know her name, but the mother-in-law character, as we were talking about. When we go into the spoiler section of this podcast, I have so much to say about the mother-in-law.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like Hina, played by Azmeri Haque, uh, she was like, she had to sell the femme fatale. Like, you have to believe that she can be that sexy woman who just enters the room and everybody, turns to look at her. And
Yeah.
why this really high up politician would risk his life to go out with this person and accept gifts and everything. Just that one scene, like she can establish that. And she was striking. And just a mini scene depiction of that Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, where Wamiqa starts dancing and Tabu just looks at and smiles.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And then flip around to later when she hears the same song and it triggers that memory, and she was like, she switches it off. Just such a journey of that particular character played by Wamiqa. It was so good. But yeah, I mean, there's so much to be praised and said about Tabu's performance in this, and she took my breath away, man. There's just so much pain and anger, and so many secrets that she's holding. She does not lead a happy life because of all the tragedies that she had to navigate through, and the whole keeping a secret from her own family, from her broken relationship with her own son. It was such a masterstroke of acting.
With Azmeri Haque Badhon, like when you read history, you sometimes hear of these women that kings sacrifice their countries for. They just give away their country. And that's what made me think of her. That's the kind of woman, like Cleopatra level, like people just don't give a crap. Or just the only thing I want is this woman. And I was like, wow, that in this day and age, an actress can exude that kind of confidence and beauty and all of those things. It's just like, it was shocking for me to see this on screen. Like, I don't even think star power of acting prowess or beauty, all of those things encapsulate what she brings here. It's like all of it together, and I don't have a word for it,
Yeah.
I think if I use any of those 1-3 words, it won't be enough. I just want to see more of her. Like, it would be amazing if she can, do get a career there where I can see more of her stuff.
And also, kudos for casting her, in an appropriately Bangladeshi role, bringing a Bangladeshi actress to play that, rather than somebody with a very bad Bong accent to speak in Bengali. And the entire Bangladesh section is all spoken in Bengali in this movie, which is yeah, absolutely. That's how it should be, We don't get to see that often.
It's funny because two things I thought about watching this movie, and it's just the approach of Vishal Bharadwaj as a filmmaker, because I'm putting this juxtaposed against Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, especially because of the Bengali accent, right? Where, I mean, I love Rocky and Rani, but those accents now seem cartoonish compared to what we saw here, right? And on the other hand, obviously we have Tiger, which is a spy movie, or, Jawan. And this is the complete opposite of that. It's such a realistic spy movie, where we're fighting, slapping each other in alleys. That's what espionage is.
Yeah.
It's not,
it's going through 48 hours of CCTV footage in the tea stall and going through CCTV footage. Like, this is before digital. and this is analog footage that they're going through, and then yeah, it's so good.
It's getting a tiffin delivered to your hideout because you're doing a stakeout. That's what espionage is,
Yeah.
right? And that I thought was just so cool to see. And the other thing I also really liked is that this is after the Kargil war. So this is 2004, right? This is about Pakistan and India, but it's Pakistan is barely mentioned. Like there's only there's like a little bit of it, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be an engaging movie of that. It can be about that topic. It can be about that era, but it doesn't need to be like something that's punching down.
Yeah.
And I think that is what a smart filmmaker Vishal Bharadwaj is. And I think that's why I mean I really liked it. Obviously, being from a Pakistani background, that appeals to me. But I mean, the Tejas trailer just dropped with Kangana Ranaut, which we didn't want to talk about, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, the whole espionage and spies and all these intelligence wings, it has a nuanced perspective on it. There's a point where a person in South Dakota gets killed who is also, I guess, on witness protection or whatever, and then
Okay, let's just say that this is the
Yeah.
spoiler
I was gonna
section
say let's
because
start getting into spoilers because I want to talk
yeah,
about things a few deeper. So go ahead,
yes,
Sujoy.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
so that
Yeah.
particular scene where Tabu, who is the intelligence head of Raw, she is sort of helping out Wamiqa's character to get back Ali Fazal's character, Ravi. But in that process, they have to eliminate somebody who has a suspicion of whatever is going on. And there is a scene when they confront each other, and Wamiqa is like totally taken aback, like saying, "Human lives are like completely disposable, dispensable for you guys for whatever." And she, Tabu's character, KM, she says like, oh, as long as countries are divided into borders or religion, we will have this bloodshed will carry on, and we will all be responsible for it. It's always like, what the stakes and the priorities differ from which country you belong to, right? And that is the difference between this and something that is jingoistic or the brand of all that movies.
Also, that particular scene begins with Tabu's character telling Vamika, "Wasn't your dad in the army?"
That's
Yeah,
that's
Like,
the
yeah,
line I
yeah.
was going to point out. Like she's like, "Oh, lives don't matter to do you, right?" And she said, "Have you ever asked that question to your dad who was in the army?" And I think that's the difference between like that. There is some sort of easy cinematic ease into making a movie about a soldier with a gun standing against the whole battalion and just shooting everybody down, right? That's the imagery of heroism or things we want to see. But when a spy is working with data and analysis and insights and reports and sneakiness, and in a way might be saving a bigger thing, that is looked down upon. So I thought that was kind of maybe also just the portrayal of cinema, right? Like making it smarter, making it more intelligent, making it more subversive is seen as lesser than, let's just shoot people from a helicopter and hang down from it, So that's what it made me think about too. Yeah.
there's also like a lot of things in this that I didn't think that this film would go there necessarily, which in retrospect, I'm just like, oh, like I didn't. I should have seen it coming because it's Vishal Bharadwaj. But there is this point in the movie where they think Wamiqa Gabbi's character, who plays the wife, might be an accomplice of Ali Fazal's character, who's the spy, or the mole in the RAW. And then they discover that it's actually his mom who is the spy, which is one of the best reveals, right?
Yeah.
Like you see, like the camera goes to Tabu and her colleagues, and all of them are just staring at the screen with their mouths wide open, going like, "What did that really happen?" And then it makes so much sense, especially when you see Ali Fazal and his mom interact with each other, because it's like full on Raja Beta syndrome going on, right? Um, and they're clearly closer than like anybody could be for either one of them. They've did this codependent relationship between the two of them, and it's very familiar, but in a very funny, subversive way for anybody who knows Desi moms and their Raja Betas. And then later on, when you discover that it's the Americans who are behind everything, like again, like I did not see that coming, but it made so much sense, and especially when that completely loathsome American consul was talking.
CIA Karen. CIA ki Karen.
CIA Karen was talking, like it made so much sense. Like, it was one of the first few times I think that I've seen in any kind of, like Netflix content or whatever, where it's very explicitly stated that when it comes to morality versus, say, American political objectives are going to come, they're going to have precedence. So there's a point where, they talk about Badhon's character, and they say like uska halal hona pehle se, what it was determined in advance. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was
the exact-
determined in advance. Yeah.
So, and that, like, it just like made me feel so sad for that character. And then also the fact that Tabu and Badhon's character are a couple.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. Like, I did not know. that
No, I
Tabu
think
and she would
that
be-
was kind of revealed in the initial narration of the movie. When the movie starts, it's Tabu's voiceover describing Badhon, and she describes it in a bit of an intimate way. So I knew that was coming.
I didn't catch that until, like, then afterwards, when, like they're in bed and like you see the mole, etc. And then I was like, oh, like that's why she was talking about her in that way.
See, that's also the interplay, right? The movie starts talking about a mole, but the rest of the movie is about a mole. That's kind of two things. And I think that's what I think Vishal Bharadwaj just find that funny. Like there's certain things that he also laces his movies with comedy, but also with like jump scares. Like a few times there was these jump scares that got me when Azmeri Haque gets stabbed with that fork. I did not see that coming. I did not see that brutality coming. And also there's a sequence where there's a chase and then the guy gets hit with a truck. And getting hit with a truck is one of those things that we see so many times and it rarely surprises me anymore. But here it really surprised me. I was really like, oh my God, what the hell happened? And I think that just Vishal Bharadwaj as a movie maker just finds these things funny. And
I mean, speaking of funny, the best time I laughed was when they get the son and the mother, they get deported to South Dakota, right? And then when she meets Wamiqa's character at Yaraji's satsang, and then she brings her home, and she's just happy that she does not have to do the dishes anymore. It's just like,
but it's such a despicable character too, because she's like, basically, no, just think we have a maid for free, the woman she
and she spells it out. She spells it out to his son, to her son, that just think that I don't have to do dishes anymore. We got a maid for free.
Also, I think there's this whole chase sequence around the interval, right, where Wamiqa they're basically escaping India because they've been found out, and the mother-in-law ends up shooting Wamiqa. So I was like thinking, in a way, this is like a Desi mother-in-law's wet dream. She can keep the grandchild, she can kill the wife, and she can run away with the son.
Yeah.
Like this is all what she wants. This is literally all what she wanted. All that she wants is another baby.
Yeah.
Also, the little shout out to Sadhguru
Rahul Ram.
with Yaraji. Yes, I mean, I was not expecting like Rahul Ram to show up And I was like, this is a catchy song. And I was really jiving to
When they
it.
first revealed Ali Fazal's character in the office, he has a poster of Rahul Ram. I was like, okay, Rahul Ram is showing up as a guru there, and he does this pranam, and then he keeps showing up in all these banners, and I was like, okay, they are setting him up for something, and I was quite surprised that Rahul Ram can almost play Osho in this, right? In a way.
So who is he? I'm not.
He's
I don't
the
know this actor.
lead singer and bassist of Indian Ocean.
Oh, okay. That's why he was like very confident on stage with a guitar and stuff like that. Yeah, I gotta say, like, that's one thing that I'm kind of missing in a way is the composer Vishal Bharadwaj, because that song is a banger, and also even the little whistle theme that they got going as the theme of this movie. And I was like, I kind of miss that composer too, who's like literally one of the best composers there is around, and now he's just become a filmmaker, and we almost miss that part of him, right? And yeah, like there's not much music in it, but it's really, really good, no?
Yeah.
Is there an album? I haven't checked
I
actually.
think it's out
I
on
should check.
streaming. Yeah.
I should check.
Yeah. But any can I just in terms of criticism, the only thing I felt is this movie was too long. Like it is, especially in the second half, it really started dragging. Like at least 20-25 minutes just felt too long. And I mean, it shifts focus from Tabu's character to Wamiqa's character, and there are moments that are amazing in it, and some that are just burnt in my head forever. Like the rape scene is the marital rape scene is one that will probably never leave my mind ever again, because it's so horrific to see, and the way it's played out, her putting the camera on her face and her screaming, literally screaming, and it really puts you into what this woman is going through. And then she calls Tabu to kind of almost get a bit of solace or a bit of like sympathy, and Tabu is very harsh on her that you might not ever see the end of the tunnel here, and you chose this. And it becomes such a kind of disheartening segment there, but still I just felt like this is a 2 hour 40 minutes movie almost, and I just feel it doesn't maybe justify it, or I don't know, like it felt long to me. It dragged for me the second half for sure.
Yeah.
I think my only criticism would be the American actors. They were terrible.
Yeah, like I have not
Yes.
seen such bad actors since a Yash Raj movie, since Neil and Nikki or something like that.
I
And
mean,
they are
just
all British actors.
incredibly terrible.
They are all British actors.
Oh, are they?
CIA Karen is definitely British.
Yeah. She's a EastEnders actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been on Penny Dorman stuff.
I thought we had moved past this, and like now we can just, get people from like, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why casting of white people is still such a problem. Like, there's enough actors out there. They literally they were striking for American cinema, so you go to Gordon for one for cheap, But, yeah. Anything for you, Amrita, that kind of didn't work, or like any criticism or anything like that?
No, I had a good time. I had a good time watching this movie.
Also, the other scene that kind of, it was funny, but it was also hilarious, and it was also they're forcing it so much, was when the Bangladeshi minister comes for dinner at their house, and they're forcing him to eat mutton. And that was like okay, none of these people are trained spies, especially not the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And and especially having to explain Karwa Chauth to a white woman. There's no way that a white woman would co-opt Karwa Chauth because just you've explained that this is bad luck for your husband. That I don't see that happening. But that whole setup was quite hilarious too. But it also becomes so intense.
I think that was the only plot point that didn't make any sense. Like, why would he want to come have dinner at their house?
Yeah. It wasn't
That didn't make any
established,
sense.
right? It wasn't established that they had a
Yeah.
relationship whatsoever, right? Yeah, and without any bodyguards, anything like that, just like to
Yeah,
a dingy little house in South Dakota. It just seemed very. It's South Dakota, right? I think I
yeah.
did right, South Dakota. Uh, yeah, Amrita, you had also some spoiler scenes you wanted to talk about specifically, or like
No,
the
just
one.
these.
Sorry.
Just these, like what we
Ah,
were just talking.
the one that also just shocked me is almost like Tabu and Azmeri Haque kissing, which they don't, but they come really really close, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect that to. I'm really still in Ded Ishkiya mode where only Madhuri runs away at the end, and it's like, oh, lesbian love story, like. But there, here it's like they're in bed. There's like it's very sensual, and I thought that was much more than I expected a movie to do. And I think that's kind of cool that Netflix allows them the kind of freedom to maybe push the envelope a little bit further, which I thought was kind of cool too. We literally have not talked about the men whatsoever in this movie. Any male that you did mention Atul Kulkarni. I was watching this with my wife, and I had to tell her that he's the man that adapted Lal Singh Chadda. So, because we're huge Lal Singh Chadda fans in this household. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Ali Fazal, I know Amrita, you really like him, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's really good in this. He plays his character really well, sort of like weak, but also venal. It's a good characterization.
He's also shown as a competent spy. Like the way he takes out those other people that are staking out. That's you see that he's actually quite good at what he's doing. He has the physicality of it, but also there's that sequence where Wamiqa and him come face to face where they're escaping, and he strikes that balance between so she asks him, are you betraying your country, and he gives her an explanation that he isn't, that he's actually a patriot, but you see in his delivery that he doesn't believe what he's saying, and I thought that balance in a performance was really well done by Ali Fazal.
Yeah, I think the one, throughout the movie, at least the first half, you don't get to see much of Ali Fazal talking. You just see him as this background character on CCTV. And then obviously you get to see his life like completely flipped when they move to South Dakota, and he's grown a beard and he's trying to live this DL life in a way. And then the dinner scene happens, and spoilers, but his mother gets killed by Mirza, and his outburst after that. I think he gets that scene often in spy movies and such. When people get killed, you don't get to even have an outbreak scene, but you can see like Raja Beta, his mother meant so much, and that consistency in his character remained. Like he gets to see, like he was almost about to kill the embassy guy, I think, right? Or was it Tabu? And he's
Yeah.
like, he killed my mother. No,
Um,
he's about to kill Mirza. Yeah, he's about to kill Mirza, and
Mirza.
they stop him
Yeah.
from doing that. But he's like, he killed my mother. He killed my mother. So, like in that scene, I think Ali Fazal really brought it. Other than that, he doesn't necessarily get like a chunky piece of acting or much material. I think he might have been edited out in some scenes. Probably, again, this is a 2 hour 40 movie. I don't know how much was kept in, but yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I don't think Atul Kulkarni, like in the few bits he did, it was fine. Didn't get much to do either. Other than that,
I did like the other two spies in Tabu's team. The one that's doing the stakeout, he's
Yeah.
just not interested, and then he gets shot. And then the other one that's with him, she's with him when Wamika is dancing, and he kind of steps
Yeah.
away. I thought those were kind of cool scenes too. I also really like that the simplicity of the scam that they were running, with how they were kind of dealing with giving state secrets. Again, I think this was maybe possible in 2004. It wouldn't be possible in today's era, but it was just like they're being surveilled from every chance that they get. Their phones are bugged, their office is bugged, their house is cameraed, but basically it was just like
Yeah,
a chalk
on the car.
on a trunk of a car, and that's it, how they were doing it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Ali Fazal is also good when in the sequence, the whole sequence where he figured out that he's being spied and he needs to escape. I thought that was
I
really
think they set up, right, the leaking roof. They set it up in a previous scene, and then that comes into play as the reflection where he gets to see the camera in the reflection. That was pretty cool. And I think Ashish Vidyarthi and the Home Secretary guy, those people have played these characters in so many TV series and all of that. Yeah.
They can sleepwalk them. Yeah. I mean, we didn't talk at all about this because there's the Khufiya having two meanings, right? It's about the spy side, but it's also about her secret gay life that she's having. We haven't talked about that aspect at all, especially how it's affecting her child. What did you kind of think of that thread in the movie?
So I'm a little bit confused. Like, did she leave her husband after she met Badhon's character, or had they left? I mean, did she know that she was a lesbian even before that?
Yeah, the chronology is not really defined as such. I did hear like Atul Kulkarni make a dig at her saying, I heard you are into older women now or something like that.
Yeah, he's kind of cool with it, and I have male friends to which this has happened, and they have been less cool than Atul Kulkarni about these things. So, and I could understand the frustration of the child too, where so much is being
and
hidden.
Mama doesn't turn up to his Brutus plays.
It is that tug of war between family and kind of your job, because also that Sikh team member that is really mad at Tabu because he got called into a stakeout when he was having a puja or something like that. I thought that was kind of cool. It almost reminded me of Family Man in a certain way, the scene with the Prime series. And other thing I also really liked is these standout dialogues that this movie had, and especially how it ends, where she's Wamiqa is saying, the wound of truth can be deep, but it heals much quicker. I thought that was like a standout line, and there's a lot of these. The writing is amazing in this movie. I thought that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed Khufiya. I mean, it is second half a bit less, but overall, like, really, really enjoyed it. And I agree with Joy. It's probably one of the best things that Netflix has dropped. It's better than Jaane Jaan also. Like, we talked about it last week. It's vastly better.
Yes.
Vastly better filmmaker, and it shows. In a way, Tabu could have done Karina's role and Karina could have done Tabu's role, in a way, but then it becomes the filmmaker, right? Like, and the project that they're working on and how much you can elevate that. And Vishal Bharadwaj just shows that he's one of the most interesting filmmakers that there is around, So, final words, Sujoy? Khufiya?
Go watch it. I think if you're a Tabu fan, if you're a Vishal Bharadwaj fan, and if you want to see Bollywood or Indian cinema do spy universe in a different way, this movie has a lot of thrills and chills and even comedy at surprising places.
Okay, well, that's it for our episode this week. We'll be back next week with a new show. I don't know. We have something in the pipeline, but we're not 100% sure. But like, we have something cooking, something marinating, like that mutton that was made in this one. Sujoy, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at 93K. And
Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and on Blue Sky at Amrita IQ.
I'm at Asim Bernie. You can drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com. I also want to give a shout out to all our Patreon supporters over there and all of the cool conversations we're having. If you want to support Khandaan, you can do that from $1. Signing up to Patreon, get access to bonus stuff and lots of other fun people to hang out with. It's really cool. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening.
Khandaan Podcast. Girl, you're my